everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Garrett from @GoWithGarrett. Today feels like a great day for some Dollar Tree DIYs. If you've been watching my last few videos, then you know I've been leaning into the vintage decor, vintage inspired aesthetic, all that good stuff. So today I wanted to try some vintage inspired Dollar Tree DIYs. These will be for those of us who want to accomplish that vintage look without spending too much money. They should all be pretty easy, so I'm excited to give them a try. Let's get started. The first DIY that we're going to be doing is ridiculously easy, but I thought it would be really cute. So I was scrolling through Pinterest and I saw these vintage glass cake stands, and I thought it would be super easy to make one using Dollar Tree products. So I came across this clear glass plate in the kitchenware section, and then I had this classic glass candlestick holder, also from Dollar Tree. I love these and I had a few of them on hand already. So I'm gonna put the two together using some clear E6000, and we're gonna be very sparing with how much we put on there because we don't want it to ooze out too much and be very noticeable. So we're gonna put these two together really quick and have our own little cake stand. Alright, this is looking pretty dang centered, if I do say so myself. So I'm gonna add something pretty heavy to the top just to kind of hold it in place as it dries. And I'm just gonna set this to the side for now. It's gonna take several hours to dry, so we'll check back in on that later. The next DIY that I have in mind should also be very easy, very simple, ideally, hopefully. We're gonna take one of these little plastic hand mirrors from Dollar Tree. You can see it's got some really cute details on it that could kind of lean a little vintage or antique if it wasn't pink and plastic. But we're gonna change that with some antique gold rub and buff. We're really just gonna give this hand mirror one good coat of the rub and buff and see if we can really take it to that vintage antique level. I always love the idea of little hand mirrors sitting on a bathroom countertop or at a vanity. So let's see if we can transform this piece with a little rub and buff. So for this project, I'm really just gonna take a paintbrush that I already have. I believe I got this from Dollar Tree as well. And I'm just gonna use that to apply this rub and buff all over. I'm gonna start with the back, let that dry, and then I'll flip it over and we'll do the front as well. Oh wow, this goes on pretty darn well. And a little bit goes a long way. I've never used rub and buff before, but as you can see, it is already coming to life. For the next DIY, we're gonna need 3 of these cylindrical vases from Dollar Tree, some beaded necklaces from the party section at Dollar Tree, some E6000, and some spray paint of your choice. I'm using this metallic rose gold color by Krylon, and we'll also be using our hot glue gun. So the first thing we're gonna do is attach each of these vases together and create a sort of trio of vases. And in order to do that, we're gonna take our E6000 and pipe some of that all the way down the side of one of the vases, doing kind of a straight line as much as possible. And you can use a generous amount for this because we wanna make sure we get a really strong bond here. Right next to that, we're gonna take our hot glue gun and pipe a strip of hot glue right next to the E6000, as close as we can get it. And then we're just gonna press another vase right onto that, trying to maximize the amount of surface that is touching between the two, making sure that the hot glue and the E6000 are touching the other vase. And so with this, the hot glue will obviously dry much faster than the E6000, so it'll hold the two vases together while the E6000 dries. Then once that dries, the vases will have a much stronger hold and be much more secure. So I'm just gonna hold this until I feel like the hot glue is dry enough. And then we'll repeat that same exact thing, attaching the third vase to this second one. We're gonna let this dry really, really well before we move on to the next step. All right, it is much later now, and as you can see, all 3 of our vases are nicely secured together, so we're gonna move on to the next step. So next we're gonna just take some of these beaded necklaces and use some hot glue to secure them in each of the cracks between the vases, just to add a little bit of detail. All right, y'all, it only took 1 necklace to cover all of these seams on both sides. So we're gonna let this dry for a little bit longer, and then we're gonna take it outside and give it a good coat of spray paint. We're gonna be using some Dollar Tree picture frames. Dollar Tree actually has a huge variety of picture frames, but I went with these 3 for this project in particular. 2 of these more wooden ones, and then this one has a gold frame. I'm actually gonna go over this one with some rub and buff just to give it a little bit more of an antique look. And we're gonna be adding in some free vintage artwork that I simply downloaded off of Pinterest and then printed at my local UPS store for super cheap. So I'm gonna get all of these prints cut out so that they'll fit in the frame. And then we're gonna go in and give them a little bit more of a realistic artwork look. Before we get these framed, we're actually going to add a layer of matte Mod Podge using a paintbrush and giving the piece some different brush strokes just to make it look a little more realistic and like real artwork. So this is a great way to really elevate any kind of basic print, is to just add a little bit of Mod Podge and kind of just go over the piece. Now that the Mod Podge has dried, I wanted to show y'all a really good close-up so you can kind of see the brush strokes and the character that this gives the print. It just makes it look a little more realistic. It just adds a little bit of character to the piece, and I highly recommend doing this. Now, before I put the artwork into their respective frames, one thing that I always do, and I learned this from Drew at Lone Fox, is I go in and I remove the glass from the frame, and that just totally elevates your artwork, makes it feel so much more sophisticated, and it makes your artwork look that much more expensive. I love how that looks already. I'm actually obsessed with this. I did not know if this would turn out that great, but I really am excited about this. Alright y'all, that completes this video of vintage inspired Dollar Tree DIYs. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. And if you like vintage and antique home decor, be sure to check out this video where I do a huge haul of some vintage and antique decor that I've been collecting for my apartment. Or check out this video where I give my bedroom a warm vintage inspired makeover, and same with this living room makeover. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and before you head out, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I share affordable DIYs, home decor, and other home related content right here on my channel, and I would love to have you join me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.